We're one match in to the 2018 World Cup, where we've already seen some huge shock results, some brilliant goals, and a couple disappointments as well. Let's take a look at some of the most impressive players from each group so far. Hello, I'm your host Nicholas Carroll, and of course joining me throughout the tournament, we welcome back Chloe Beresford. Chloe, how are you enjoying it so far?
I've loved it. I think it's been brilliantly entertaining, to be honest.
We'll get straight into things, starting with Group A, where Russia had a huge win over Saudi Arabia to get the tournament started. Chloe, who has impressed you most from this group?
I think the World Cup got off to a little bit of a slow start with Group A. They weren't the most enthralling of matches, but I'm going to pick a player that I spoke about in the previous videos, which is Juventus and Uruguay midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur. Uruguay were criticised for sideways passing and not being proactive enough, but actually we saw that Bentancur did a really good job, and don't forget that he really is still young.
I would love to say one of the Russians, but unfortunately I think it's all uphill from here for them, so I'm going to stick with Uruguay and say Edinson Cavani. It probably took him a while to get into the game, but particularly towards the end of the match he really led the way forward and pretty much did everything but score. He showed a lot of form, and I certainly think he can score a couple in the coming matches. Group B featured an instant World Cup classic, Spain and Portugal 3-3, and Chloe, there's only one place you can really start here.
Yeah, there really is only one man to talk about here, Cristiano Ronaldo, as predicted, single-handedly brought about that point for Portugal, a side who really did look inferior to Spain in general, but he has the ability to just create something out of nothing, and he really is a must for any fantasy team.
Well, I'll look at their opposition, and I mentioned him in the preview, but Diego Costa showed exactly what he is capable of. His strength, skill on the ball, and of course that finishing ability. With 2 goals already, you have to wonder what he, as well as Ronaldo, can do against the likes of Iran and Morocco going forward. Moving to Group C, where oddly enough the 2 losing sides probably impressed me more, and France I found rather disappointing. Chloe, who caught your eye in this one?
It has to be, for me, the Denmark goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. He kept a clean sheet despite Peru firing 17 shots on goal in that match, as Denmark pulled off the 1-0 win. In doing so, he also eclipsed his father Peter's record of 470 minutes without conceding a goal, a great milestone for him and a proud moment in his international career.
For me, Huddersfield Town's Aaron Moy was a clear standout in that Australia-France match. He was strong in defence, he played the ball around superbly and put in some incredibly dangerous free kicks and crosses. I think he can certainly provide some issues for the 2 nations ahead. In Group D, Iceland has done it again and shocked us, where Croatia had it relatively easy against Nigeria. Your top pick?
After Iceland's incredible 1-1 draw with Argentina, it's difficult to pick out a single player from that really disciplined and effective unit. But I'm going to go for Kari Arnason. He's a central defender, former Aberdeen player, and he made no less than 8 clearances in that match, winning 5 aerial duels, and he was the embodiment of really what Iceland were all about in that game. Superb work from them.
While Luka Modric is the obvious one for Croatia, I think Ivan Strinic was excellent in their defence. He did a great job nullifying the Nigeria attacks and provided a solid outlet in moving forward. Next up in Group E, we saw Brazil held by Switzerland in their first game, while Serbia defeated Costa Rica. Chloe, who should managers be looking out for from these 4 teams?
I think people should be looking at Serbia's Alexander Kolarov. He's a truly modern wing-back. He's good in both the attacking and defensive phases of the game. And while all eyes were on the likes of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic in that Serbia team, he was actually the one to make the difference with that truly stunning free kick.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I said in the previews I was so excited to see Philippe Coutinho in Russia, and he showed exactly why. Brazil won't be too put off by that result, and I think he'll continue to play a major role in that squad. Moving on, what player has taken your fancy from Group F, where the reigning champions were defeated by Mexico?
Well, Mexico was superb in pulling off their shock. I'm going to go for their goal scorer, Hirving Lozano. I think we could see more goals from him in this tournament, and he's inevitably being tipped with a move to the Premier League now. So yeah, I think maybe more to come from him.
I'll go with Sweden's match winner, Andreas Granqvist. He struggled a bit in the first half with the South Koreans' pace, but he improved, got things under control and made a couple crucial stops, as well as going on to produce 3 shots on goal. His experience will be crucial for Sweden in their coming matches, and of course he has that goal scoring potential if he keeps the penalty taking duties. And we finish on Group G, Belgium, Panama, England, Tunisia. Who's your number 1 pick from this group?
Again, we mentioned him in the previous videos, but for me it just has to be Harry Kane. His 2 goals were vital for England in their first match with Tunisia, and he showed how clever he is in getting into the right position. He was more or less unmarked for his 2 goals because he'd sneaked in behind the other defenders. So yeah, for me, Harry Kane.
For Belgium, their talented squad passed the first test, and while there's a few of them I could choose, I'm going to go with Kevin De Bruyne, as he's just involved in so much of their play in midfield and of course going forward. He got an assist, 3 shots on goal, and I can definitely see him being the difference in some of their more trickier matches ahead. Group H is currently in motion at the time of recording, so we'll certainly cover our picks for that group in the next episode. Chloe, thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you again after the next round of fixtures.
Thanks Nick, see you soon.
Until then, get all your news from EuroFantasyLeague.com. If you're into podcasts, there is a Euro Fantasy League one, so check that out. And make sure you are playing the World Cup fantasy game brand new, and you can find that at www.fantasy-worldcup.com. I'll speak to you next time.